you are having the test for the materials, metals and non-metals, and for fiber and fabric also said.
Yes, sir. Synthetic fiber and fabrics.
Chakrika, but then you told me that you are not having that chapter. You don't have this chapter synthetic fiber.
Yes, yes, sir. I don't have it, nor did we take it in the class. But
So then
they
there's
have
no need for you.
scheduled the test.
I will inform them about this. They might have missed it. Okay, no, they might not have. They might have missed it. Okay, no. So there's no
Yes,
need
sir.
for you. Also for Gauri, also this chapter has been. It's not going to be in your exam now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will inform them on this. So there's no need to unnecessarily give test on that chapter. Okay, now. So let us continue this chapter, pollution of air and water. All of you turn your cameras on in the class. Do let me know you guys are there in the class. I mean, in order to have a proper interaction, it's better. Okay. So by the way, Vaiga, see, this is in continuation. This chapter, there was already one class held for the chapter. For this chapter,
Sir,
pollution.
actually, it's okay, sir, because this chapter is easy for me because it's already taken in my school, so it's okay.
Okay, okay. Great. So we are going to continue from this topic. So far, we had learned about what is air. We had learned about what is air pollution. In this, we learned about some pollutants. Pollutants are basically any unwanted or harmful substances because of which, if it is present in the air quality will be decreased and it will be said to be polluted. And there are two types of pollutants. The polluting substances, basically pollutants.
Actually, this chapter is not done in my school. It is another chapter.
Okay, this was not done, pollution of air and water.
No, sir.
So I will just recommend you to watch the recording.
Okay, sir.
That's the only way we have. Then we have indoor and outdoor pollutants. Right now, indoor pollutants would be basically pollutants that will be produced in closed capacities, closed areas, like for example, in our houses, in offices, in schools, in hospitals, etc. Right now, so the kind of pollutants would be like some biological pollutants would be there, pet hair, like fungi, pollen grains, etc. Then tobacco smoke, carbon monoxide, asbestos is one another pollutant that can cause cancer as well. So these are something called as indoor pollutants and indoor air pollutants. Then after that we have indoor air quality. So it will basically be like the quality of the air inside the closed premises of our houses, offices, schools, or other commercial places. So that is the indoor air quality. So many times you will be if the hygiene is not maintained inside the house, if the air quality inside our houses is not clean, so it can lead to so many problems, like it can cause irritation in the eyes, redness of the eye, it can lead to headaches, many times we would be sneezing a lot, it can lead to dizziness also. These are some of the things that basically tells that our indoor air quality is not good. Okay, then we did learn about outdoor air pollution sources, outdoor air pollutants, we did learn about this. So any kind of pollutant that will be coming out from vehicles, from the chimneys of the factories, getting it now. So those will be the outdoor pollutants, and they are the major source of air pollutants. They are the major source of pollutants. Outdoor pollutants will be contributing much more in polluting the environment as compared to the indoor pollutants. Then we did learned about the what are the different sources of air pollution right now. So transportation will be the single most, it's accounts for more than 50% right now. Most of the air pollutants will be coming out of the different vehicles, right now, basically from transportation. Then on the basis of there was another basis of classifying the air pollutants. So one is primary, that is directly emitted into the air. So those are called as primary pollutants. So we have the example of like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, different kind of gases, sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen. All these were the primary pollutants. But for example, some primary pollutants like sulfur dioxide or nitrogen oxides of nitrogen, if it were to react with the rain, so it will form an acid rain. So then it becomes a secondary pollutant. So we did learn about these things. We did learned about what are the effects of different pollutants on the environment, how it is impacting the environment. We learned the case of acid rain. In this, we learned how acid rain has been responsible for turning the white marble of the Taj Mahal into pale yellow color. So these are the things we had learned. Today we are going to continue from this topic, the greenhouse effect. Okay, so from here we are going to continue. Okay. Talking about the greenhouse effect. So you all would have learned about you all would have learned about greenhouses, for example. Greenhouses are spatial glass structures which are designed to grow the crops even in the winters crops can grow in the greenhouse gas. Have you guys ever seen the greenhouse gas? A greenhouse, I mean to say. It's a glass structure in which certain plants will be grown. Right now, like in the winter season, we can't grow some plants because of less humidity and because of less temperature. So the seeds will not be germinating. So in the case of a greenhouse, what we get to observe, like this is, for example, a greenhouse, and say that this is greenhouse, and the roof is made out of glass. So what basically it does now, as the sun's rays will be falling on these glass roofs, so those glass roofs will become heated and it will trap that heat. So the glass roof, it traps the heat. It traps the heat from the sun's rays and thereby warms up the inside of the greenhouse. It warms up the air inside the greenhouse so the plants inside this can grow. Even if it is winter, the plants can grow. So that is the concept of greenhouse. What is this greenhouse effect then? You see, similar to the glass roof of this greenhouse, now there are some gases in our environment like carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbon. There are lots of other gases that will be absorbing the heat from the sun's rays. That will be absorbing the heat from the sun's rays, and it will basically be trapping the heat from the sun's rays, and it will not allow that heat to escape into the space. Getting it now? So as also we know the sun's rays contains infrared radiation also. Infrared, like the sun's rays now, it contains different things. The sun's ray that falls on Earth, it contains infrared in it. I think Vaiga is not in the class, no? No.
Yes, sir.
So what are we seeing about this greenhouse effect now? What are we seeing that? Like the sun's rays that falls on the Earth, it contains infrared in it also, and it is the infrared radiation because of which because of which the sun's rays are hot. The sun's rays are hot because of infrared radiation in it. So the some of the infrared now, it passes as it passes into the atmosphere. Some of it is absorbed. Some of it is absorbed by the land surface and by the water body. Getting it? But some of them are re-emitted in all the directions. They are emitted into the Earth's surface, meaning that they are basically reflected back into the surface of the Earth, into the atmosphere, I mean to say. And in the atmosphere, if the presence of gases like carbon dioxide, methane, or chlorofluorocarbon, if it were to increase, so these gases will absorb those heat. It will absorb the infrared radiation and hence it will become warm. So that is called as a greenhouse effect. Is that clear to all of you? So as the sun's rays enters the atmosphere, some of the radiation gets reflected back into space. As we know, like as you can see in this here, some of the radiation is getting reflected back into the space. So only a small portion of the radiation is retained in the Earth. Getting it now? Otherwise, Earth would have been a very hot planet. If these radiations are not reflected back into the atmosphere, into the space now, Earth would have been a hot planet. Getting it? So as the sun's rays are entering into the Earth's atmosphere, some of the radiation gets reflected back into the space, while some of it is trapped inside the Earth's atmosphere. Some of it is trapped. Also, this is possible because of the presence of some greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbon that can trap the heat of the sun. Huh? That can trap the heat of the sun. Also, water vapor can also trap the sun's radiation. Right now, so the trapping of the heat of the sun's rays now by gases like carbon dioxide, methane, or water vapor, or chlorofluorocarbon, that is called as greenhouse effect. And due to the greenhouse effect, what is happening? The temperature of the earth is increasing nowadays. Right now, although this greenhouse effect, to some extent, it is important. To some extent, presence of carbon dioxide and other gases are important in the atmosphere. But if it increases beyond a certain level, na, then it becomes problematic. Then it becomes problematic. Got this, na, everyone? If it increases beyond a certain level, then it becomes problematic for the earth. So due to excess of carbon dioxide, due to excess amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, what is happening? Excess amount of heat is being absorbed. More amount of heat is being absorbed. Excess of carbon dioxide, what it is doing? It because of this, the greenhouse effect has now become a serious trouble for the planet Earth, becoming a serious problem. So the excess of greenhouse gases will lead to absorption of more heat, and here what will happen? The temperature of the Earth will be rising. Not at just one place, at every place, the temperature of the Earth will be increasing. So that will lead to a phenomena called as global warming. That will be called as global warming. All right, now. So that is the thing about global warming. Now let us understand what are the different sources of carbon dioxide on Earth. So the main source of carbon dioxide of Earth, and talking about this, like we have different types of activities ongoing on Earth. Like we are regularly burning different kind of fossils, different kind of fuels are fossil and fuels are burned, and so many industrial activities are going on. So because of that, lots of carbon dioxide gas is released into the atmosphere. Because what we had learned in the chapter coal and petroleum, there we had learned about fossil fuels. So there we had learned about like coal, petroleum, or the gases like the natural gas. All these were formed out of living organisms. Due to the decaying of living organism millions and millions of years ago, these things were formed. So basically, these fuels are formed by the process of carbonization. Carbonization is a process where the carbon content in a given organic matter increases. In organic matter, the carbon content increases and other things are lost. Other gases, water vapor, and other gases are lost from it. So the carbon content is found in higher quantity. So obviously, when this will be burned, it will be releasing lots of carbon dioxide, like they contain carbon in it. So when it will be burned in the presence of oxygen, obviously carbon dioxide gas will be given off. Getting it now, Vaiga, Gauri, and Chakrika. So
Yes, sir.
this will be one
Yes.
of the major contributing. Okay, now. Then we have some other sources of carbon dioxide. Interestingly, you guys know that oceans are the major contributors of carbon dioxide gas in the atmosphere. You know why? Huh? Why they are releasing lots of carbon dioxide? You know about alga? All of you know about the alga, no? Right? I think all of you
Yes, sir.
know about this alga, right? So they on the in the oceans also there are lots of organisms like alga is there, some other aquatic plants are there, fishes. So they will also be releasing lots of carbon dioxide now, right? So oceans will also be releasing a good amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and that will be about almost 42%. Then other sources will be plant and animal respiration. So about 28% will be generated due to respiration being carried out by the plants and animals. By the plants and animals. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
And we know in the process of respiration, basically, carbon dioxide gas is given off. And some of the carbon dioxide gas will be released due to volcanic eruptions as well. Due to volcanic eruptions as well. Let me just put my pen in the chart, it's not working. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So these are some of the different sources of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere due to burning of fossil fuel, due to respiration done by the plants and animals, due to from oceans also lots of carbon dioxide will be released into the atmosphere. Now let us understand about the effects of global warming. As we were learning about global warming moments ago, so there are different effects of global warming. Like for example, if we were to see that global warming overall it is leading to increase in the temperature of the earth's surface, and as the temperature of the earth's surface will be increasing, so thereby the snow, the glaciers will be melting. As the glaciers will be melting, where will this water go? It will go into the oceans now, into seas now. So thereby the level in the sea and in the ocean it will rise. And if it is lying, so thereby the nearby areas in the coastal areas, the chances of flood will increase or decrease. Coastal areas will
Increase.
lead to flooding of the areas around the sea now. Due to melting of the glaciers, the water level is increasing, hence the coastal areas will be flooded. That will lead to loss of life and property. Also, it will also lead to extreme weather conditions in different parts of the earth right now. Like it will lead to heat waves. It will lead to heat waves in urban areas particularly, right? It can lead to increased rainfall in certain areas, like the weather pattern will be changing. So at some areas, rainfall can be increased, while at some areas, rainfall can be decreased. So the weather pattern will be disturbed because of this. Furthermore, it will not only be impacting the human, but the population of animals and plants will also be impacted because of this. So because of this, it can lead to extinction of several species of animals as well. So what are the impacts of, what are the effects of global warming? First thing is that temperature on Earth is going to increase. As a result of that, glaciers are going to melt. As the glaciers will be melting, so thereby the sea level will be rising. It will rise. So because of that, it will lead to flooding of the
Flood.
coastal areas. Exactly. Furthermore, it will change the weather pattern. The climate, like if the weather pattern is changed for so long, so it will change the climate also. Right now, so it will change or basically alter the weather pattern. Weather pattern, and furthermore, weather will be extreme. Weather will be very extreme in nature. It will lead to extreme weather conditions in different parts of the earth. Extinction of several species will also happen. Several species will also die because of this. Like the polar bears, it can like polar bears now, as the ice are melting now, so the ice is not stable. The glaciers are not stable. So the polar bears have to travel several kilometers without stopping to look for a stable ice, on which it can rest upon and hunt the seals. Getting it now? So in that case, like if the global warming continues at this rate, so the population of polar bears will end and it will become extinct. Getting it, guys? So that is the thing. These are some of the harmful impacts of global warming. Then we have the ozone layer. So what is ozone layer? We know our atmosphere has different layers, no? Like troposphere is that there, stratosphere is there, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere, and ionosphere. So in which layer of the atmosphere this ozone layer is? We are going to learn about this, and first of all, let us learn what this layer is basically. Uh, so our atmosphere, it is covered with a layer of gas called as ozone layer. Okay, na? Called as ozone layer. Ozone layer. And its formula is O3. Okay, now 3 atoms of oxygen combines to form a molecule of ozone. Okay. Now, talking about where it is present. Okay, now, like where this gas is present. So, ozone layer is present in the stratosphere. As we know, our atmosphere has different layers now. Troposphere is there, stratosphere. Troposphere is the first layer of the atmosphere in which we are living. Then you have the stratosphere, then you have the mesosphere. So where is this layer located? So this layer is located in the second layer of the atmosphere, that is in the that is in the stratosphere, like over here. Is that thing clear to everyone what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Getting it now? So the one that you see over here, this one, this much. So that, say this is the stratosphere. Talking about its function, like what function is performed. Okay, well, let us understand about its thickness also, like where exactly, how like what is the altitude at which this is present right now. So it is present above 15 to 30 kilometers above the surface of the earth. We can see above 15 to 30 kilometers it will is present. Getting it now? And this ozone layer, like I told you about its chemical formula, keep this in mind that its chemical formula is O3. Okay. And it was for the first time it was discovered about 110 or 111 year ago. It was discovered for the first time. Like by the year in the year 1913 it was discovered for the first time. Okay, now anyways, so where it is present? It is present in the stratosphere. What is the stratosphere? It's the second layer of atmosphere. It's the second layer of our atmosphere. Talking about its function, that what function is performed by it. So ozone layer will be, it's the gas present in the ozone layer will be basically preventing the dangerous ultraviolet rays of the sun from reaching the surface of the earth. That is what its function is. As you can see over here, like some of the ultraviolet ray is absorbed, some of it is reflected as well. Got this now? That is the thing. So that is its function. Talking about function, its function is absorb ultraviolet radiation. Ultraviolet radiation. So one question should come to your mind, like why ultraviolet rays are bad? Why ultraviolet rays are bad for our health? So the simple answer to this question is that ultraviolet radiations are the main cause of skin cancer. They are the main cause of skin cancer. Okay, now so it causes skin cancer. So thereby it is important that these gases should not come in contact with our skin. It can damage our eyes also. It can damage our eyes also. In certain situations, it can lead to premature aging also. Like skin will start to age early if the person were to be exposed to ultraviolet radiations. Okay, now these are some of the problems. It can also weaken our immune system. Okay, now our immune system can also become weak because of this. Right now, so
Okay.
nature has provided us with this shield, with this ozone layer that protects us from ultraviolet radiation. Okay, that is the thing. Now, but what is happening due to increased activities on Earth, like earlier, the refrigerators that were used now, like the refrigerant that were used in the older refrigerators, it was chlorofluorocarbon. Refrigerant is basically a material that can be used to keep a thing cool. The chlorofluorocarbons were used. Different kind of industrial activities releases carbon, chlorofluorocarbon gases. Factories, industrial activities, from the car smoke also. Getting it now? So different kind of industrial activities will be releasing this gas into the atmosphere. So what this chlorofluorocarbon basically does now? This chlorofluorocarbon basically will break the ozone into oxygen and one single atom of oxygen. Getting it? What is happening? This chlorofluorocarbon, as it comes in contact with the ozone layer, it breaks up it into oxygen molecule and an oxygen atom. So thereby, it is depleting the layer of ozone. Okay, now? So that is the thing. Now let us talk about the prevention of the air pollution. Like how can air pollution be prevented? So on an individual, at an individual level, what we can do and what the government should be doing. Okay, now so we can switch to the cleaner sources of fuels, cleaner energy resources. Like we can switch to clean energy like LPG or CNG, because these are having a good calorific value and they do not release that much of harmful gases or toxic gases into the air, and also they burn clean in a clean manner, leave, and they do not leave behind any residues. So we can switch to these clean sources of energy right now. Furthermore, we can generate awareness among the people about the harms caused by the air pollution. So we can encourage them people in order we can encourage the people to participate in what we are doing. Getting it now? And we should be switching to cleaner sources of should switch to some alternate source of energy, like we should be switching to solar plants. Right now we should switch to solar energy. Getting it now? Or we can switch to energy, wind energy also, wind energy like this, and to hydropower also. So these are some of the alternative sources of energy that we should be switching to, and they it should be increased. Like now usage of solar energy or the wind energy and the hydropower, it should be increased. Furthermore, we should plant more trees. By planting more trees, we can maintain the balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen gas in the air. You know that a single tree can absorb lots of carbon dioxide gas in its whole life. Right now, like in if there's a mature tree, so in just 1 year it can absorb about 40 or 50 kilogram of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Getting it, guys? So thereby it is really very important to plant the trees, because if the amount of carbon dioxide is reduced in the atmosphere, so many problems will be solved. The problem of global warming will be solved. Okay. So thereby we should be planting more and more trees. And instead of burning the dry leaves or other organic matter, they should be dumped into compost. They should be converted into a compost. Getting it now? So manuring should be done. Manuring or composting should be promoted. That is one thing which we can do. Also, we can use eco-friendly paints and cleaning products for our houses and for our buildings. Okay, now? Rather than going from synthetic materials, we can go for some alternatives which are eco-friendly in nature. Also, rather than taking the car to travel short distances, we should use the public transport. So we should be preferring public transport rather than taking car for covering short distances. So far we have covered the first part, the pollution of air that we have done. Now we are going to learn about pollution of water. Okay. So talking about water pollution, first of all, let us understand the significance of water. You guys tell me how much surface, how much surface of the earth is covered with water? About 71% of the earth's surface is covered with water, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
71% is covered with water, while remaining 29% is basically land. Also, we know that out of the 71%, like this is the 71% of the surface of the earth that is covered with water. This is 71%. Now, out of the 71%, what we see that almost 96 to 97% is basically stored in the oceans now. Right? Getting it, guys?
Yes, sir.
So which is not fit for our consumption because it is saline. Because it is saline now, so thereby it is not fit for our consumption. Then we are left with 3% of water that is fresh water. You understand what is fresh water? A water that does not contain salt in it, it is called as fresh water. That is called as fresh water. Give me a moment. Actually, I will have to change this pen. It discharges very quickly. Just one moment. So what is said in this, that 3% is fresh water, and that 3% is also unevenly distributed on Earth. Like a good portion of it is basically frozen in the polar ice caps, so thereby it is not accessible. Some of it is in the ocean, some of it is in the lake, in the ponds, etc. And a good portion of it is in the groundwater also. So the major source of fresh water which is usable for us, it's basically the groundwater, isn't it, Vaiga, Gauri, and Chakrika? So although we
Yes,
see
sir.
that 71% of the Earth's surface is covered with water, but out of that, only a fraction of it is available for our consumption. So thereby, it becomes extremely important to conserve the water. Okay, that is the thing. Also, it's necessary for the existence of life on the Earth, because it is required to perform several day-to-day activities, whether it be cleaning the clothes, cleaning our house, washing the clothes, bathing, cooking, everything. In fact, inside our body, everything that takes place in that every activity that goes on inside our body, whether it be the flow of blood, or whether it be digestion of food, excretion, all of it requires a fluid medium. All of it requires a fluid medium, in which only the in that fluid medium only it can happen. So thereby, water is essential. What is essential in that case? Just 1 minute. So that is the thing. Okay, now furthermore, now because of the increased activities, increase in polluting activities, several substances gets mixed up in the water, which makes it unsafe for our consumption. So many biological waste, so many chemical waste, so many physical substances are present in the water and makes it polluted now. So thereby, the addition of the biological, chemical, or physical substances in the water will make it contaminated. So thereby, it will lead to water pollution. Right now? So that is the thing. Nowadays, we get to see that the water has been polluted so much that microplastics are present in the water that we are drinking. Getting it, guys? Like if the water that we're drinking, it does not get through proper process of filtration, so thereby microplastics can be present in it. Even in the bottle water that we purchase from the market or the tap water, it contains some amount of microplastic. It can contain, I mean to say, not necessarily, but it can contain. In fact, the microplastic, you guys understand what is microplastic? A plastic so small in size that cannot be detected by with our bare eyes. We have to take help of a microscope to look at it. Even in the seafoods, this microplastic is now present, because as those aquatic animals are in the sea, they are taking in that water, so the microplastic will be going in their body also. For example, so many fishes, their body contain microplastic, so if we are eating them, so we are also getting that plastic in our body, and that plastic will be blocking blocking the flow of blood, so it can lead to increased cases of heart attacks as well. So all of these things are actually related. Okay, now? So that is the thing. So addition of these biological, physical, and chemical waste will result in water pollution. So hope you guys have understood what the water pollution is. I'm not writing the definition because otherwise we will not be able to complete the chapter in this class. Okay, now?
Okay, sir.
If you have doubts in that, you can just ask me. Okay. Also have a look at this diagram over here, which I have taken. But we see that when it rains, water that is not absorbed into the ground, so thereby it is into the ground, it is intercepted by vegetation or evaporated, flows into surface water such as rivers, canals, and coastal water. This flow is called runoff, meaning that the rainwater that is falling on the ground, if it is not absorbed by the plants, so either it will be evaporated into the air, or either it will run off into the rivers, it will go into the canals. So that flow of water is called as runoff. Okay, now, so in the rainy season, when the water is accumulating on the road, so that is called as runoff, basically. And as that runoff water flows over the road and land, it will be picking up lots of pollutants. So ever seen like how the streets in India will look like when it's a rainy season? Lots of pollutants are on the on in that water now, and eventually all that pollutants will end up in a lake, in a sea, or in an ocean. Furthermore, talking about the grease and all other waste coming from this when we clean this car, for example. So those grease and other oil particles will also eventually land up into some ocean, some lake, or some river. Getting it now? So that is the thing. So different kind of activities on earth are responsible for the pollution of the water. Now we are going to have a special look at the case of river Ganga, and then we'll be a little bit talking about the river Yamuna also, because that is also very much polluted. So talking about the river Ganga, by the way, isn't the river Ganga longest in India? Right? It's the
Yes.
longest river in India now.
Yes,
Let me
sir.
just tell you a few facts about this. Like the Ganga River, it's the longest river in India, and it has a length of about 2,520 or 30 kilometer, I think. 2,520 kilometer, if I'm correct. It's the longest river in India. And where does it originate? It originates from a glacier. You know the name of the glacier? That is Gangotri Glacier in Uttarakhand, if I'm not wrong. Okay, na? It originates from the Gangotri Glacier. Okay, na? And it originates from the Gangotri Glacier over here. It will be originating here, and it will flow all the way from here and will then go into the Bay of Bengal. Bay of Bengal. So since it's a really long river, and as it passes across several states, as it passes through Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, and Bihar, and West Bengal, so it will be polluted at almost every state. Also, as we know, this is considered sacred by in the Hindu religion. It is sacred, considered sacred. It has immense spiritual significance. To we Indians, it is having a very immense amount of spiritual significance is there, and it passes through so many cities like Allahabad, like Kanpur, like Patna, and like Haridwar and Varanasi, like this. But the sad thing is now, although this is one of the most significant river of India, and as it flows through so many towns, cities, and villages, what we are doing now, our livelihood is dependent upon the Ganga River in some way. Right now, like our day-to-day needs, so many people started living in the banks of River Ganga. Their livelihood is dependent upon it. But it has been found that the river Ganga is one of the 10 endangered rivers of the world, according to the World Wide Fund. According to the World Wide Fund, according to this organization, it is one of the 10 endangered rivers. Endangered rivers. You guys understand now what is an endangered river? Like there are some rivers which are considered as extinct river. Like that was once a river, but due to human activities, that river is no longer in proper condition. So this
Yes.
Ganga River is now being considered as one of the 10 endangered rivers. Why? Because of the extreme amount of pollutants found in it. Because of the extreme pollution. At many places, it has been declared dead at many places. Why? Because at several places, it does not contain any aquatic life in it. Plants and animals can't live in it at several places. That's why. Okay. So talking about the water, the causes of water pollution of the Ganga, why it is polluted so much. As we learned that it's since one of the longest river, it is the longest river, and as it passes through so many towns, so many villages, so many cities, so thereby all these cities, towns, and villages, they will be dumping the untreated sewage water. Untreated water is dumped into this river Ganga. So many garbages are dumped in it. So many dead bodies are dumped in it, and so many other harmful chemical waste are dumped in it without being treated. So all of this will be polluting it right now. Like the river Ganga, while it passes from the Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh now, There it is said to be polluted, most polluted. While it passes through the Kanpur region in Uttar Pradesh. How many of you know about this place Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh? I think Gauri would be aware.
Yes, sir.
Huh? So there Ganga river is most polluted right now, because the Kanpur usually has a very large population. The population of Kanpur is very large. Okay, now that is one thing. Furthermore, people would be using the river Ganga for lots of purposes, like for the purpose of bathing. Many people should be using for the purpose of cleaning, also for washing the clothes. Even unfortunately, some people will be openly defecating in the Ganga river, openly defecating in this river. Huh? Many people would be throwing garbages, people would be throwing polythene bags. In fact, people would be not properly, like when idols are like when it is flowed into the river, it should be the idols that is nowadays now, the idols that are being made, so eco-friendly, it is made in terms of eco-friendly, meaning that so that it mixes with the water properly. Is my camera not on? Huh. What I'm saying that nowadays when the idols are being made, so eco-friendly paints, eco-friendly substances are used in the idol, so that it mixes into the water properly when after the festival is over, when it is flowed into the water, it mixes with the water properly. So all these things have to be considered. Lots of flowers, lots of garbages, lots of things are being thrown into the river Ganga, thereby leading to the pollution of the Ganga river. Right now, also the flow of river Ganga near the Kanpur region is very slow. The speed of the river Ganga decreases there. Why? Because as lots of garbage is dumped now, so thereby due to more amount of pollutants in it, the water slows down. The water will be still water. Okay, no, still water. Furthermore, in Kanpur, we know that there are about 5,000 leather industries are there. About 5,000, not leather, I mean to say, there are about 5,000 industries, including leather industry is there, paint industry is there, fertilizer industry is there. So these industries, they will be releasing the toxic waste into the river without treating it. So all of this has led to pollution of the river Ganga. And now, and in the year 1985, the Ganga Action Plan was initiated by the government of India. In order to prevent the Ganga from getting polluted, the government of India initiated a plan called as Ganga Action Plan. Ganga Action Plan. When was it initiated? So it was initiated in the year 1985. Right now, since 1985, it's almost about to be 40 years, but still we see that the Ganga river is polluted. Why? Because industries have been increasing, population of India have been increasing. Because of that, it has caused so much of damage to the river that now if someone were to drink the river of Ganga, uh, drink the water from the river Ganga at certain places, they might become sick also. Okay, now then, considering all this problem, the government of India started one more initiative called as National Mission for Clean Ganga. They started National Mission for Clean Ganga in the year 2016. Okay, na? But that is also not very effective. Recently, also, government of India has launched some programs to clean the river Ganga. Recently, also, they have launched by the name of Namami Gange. You have heard of this program, Namami Gange?
No, sir.
Okay, that is basically a action plan launched by the government of India, same to the previous one. Just like Ganga Action Plan was there, a national mission for cleaning Ganga was launched. The Namami Gange has also been launched. Okay, now I think it was launched before the national mission for clean Ganga. I think in the 2014 it was launched. Okay, now after 1985 this was launched. Then this national mission for clean Ganga has been launched. Okay, now So that is the thing. So hope you guys have understood the case of this. Okay. Then we have another river called as Yamuna River. Yamuna River is also very polluted, right? The Yamuna River, if you were to look at the Yamuna River in Delhi, lots of untreated waste is released from Delhi into the Ganga River, into the Yamuna River, I mean to say. So many heavy metals, so many chemicals, so many hazardous materials are released into the Yamuna River, and because of that, also this river is also very polluted. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Like Delhi, like 58% of the pollutants of the Delhi now, 58% of the waste from the in the produce in Delhi is dumped into this river Ganga, into this river Yamuna, I mean to say. Okay, na? Also, like if you were to if you were to pass close to the river Yamuna, it will be giving a very strong and repulsive smell. It will be hard to walk close to the Yamuna river. It has basically become a drain there. Okay, na? That is the thing. By the way, you guys should know about the Yamuna river also. Like from where Yamuna river originates, it also originates from a glacier. By the way, hmm? You guys know where does it is from where it starts? There's a peak. There's a yes.
Is that from Uttarakhand or maybe from, I don't know.
See, Yamuna, talking about the glacier, first of all, it originates from a glacier by the name of Yamunotri. From Yamunotri glacier, it originates. Right now, from there it originates, and it also originates in the Uttarakhand. Getting it now? It originates in the Uttarakhand. Keep that in mind. And it's also one of the large river, but has a length of around 13 or 1400 kilometer, I think. Anyways, now moving on to another concept, that is the concept of eutrophication. Let us learn about what eutrophication is. Okay, now. So talking about eutrophication, see, if the farmers, as the farmers nowadays are using pesticides, insecticides are used, weedicides are used, but without proper knowledge, if they were without proper knowledge, they don't have the knowledge of right amount, right dosage, how much of insecticide or fertilizer should be used in the field. Hmm? So because of that, what will happen due to the runoff? No, due to the runoff, when there will be rainfall, so the extra chemical fertilizers will go into the nearby lakes, nearby ponds. Also due to other human activities. Also, for example, if we were to throw the garbage in this, if we were to throw the chemical waste from the factories in it, so thereby lots of nutrients are being added into this, like different kind of chemicals we are throwing in this now. It will contain different type of elements like magnesium, calcium, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. All these things will be present in that. Like for example, the fertilizers, what did they contain? They contain nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, na? NPK fertilizers, right? Different kind of other chemical waste coming from the factories, that will also contain different kind of other waste in it. So for us, it looks like waste, but for the microorganisms, for the alga that will be growing here, for them it is nutrient. For them, nitrogen, phosphorus, or potassium or other chemicals are food for them. So eutrophication in this what will happen, meaning that as the water, as these chemicals will go into the water body, so the alga will start to feed upon it. Alga will start to take those nutrients, and the number of alga will multiply. As the number of alga will multiply, so thereby alga will require more oxygen. Try to understand this. Alga will require more oxygen from the water now.
Yes, sir.
See that this is an alga over here, and in this now, from the runoff water or from other sources, waste are released, and those waste contain lots of nutrients. So alga will be feeding upon that waste, and as its number will be multiplying, it will require oxygen. So it will suck up more oxygen from the water. So if it is sucking up more oxygen from the water, the fishes, will they not die? Fishes will die now. Getting it, guys?
Yes, sir.
So what
Yes.
happens? There will come a time that this alga will grow so much that a carpet, green carpet like layer will develop above the water body. A green develop, there will be a green carpet like layer that will develop over it. So what is happening over here? This process is called as eutrophication, in which what is happening, there's a presence of excess amount of nutrient in the water, especially in a stagnant water like in a pond where the water is not flowing. So when these chemicals are added into the water body and when they are fed by the when these are eaten by the alga, so as the large number of alga will be growing here, other plants can also grow in it. Okay, now other plants can also grow in it apart from alga. So as these plants will be dying, as the alga will die, as you can see over here, like the alga is dying. Alga will die and their decaying matter will settle in the bottom. So as they die, now the decomposers will start to rise. Decomposers will start to feed upon this decaying alga now. Different kind of microorganism will start to feed upon it. Getting it now? So as the decomposers like bacteria or other microorganisms will feed upon the dead remain of alga. So in that process, they will also take up most of the oxygen of the water, because to break down this, or while they will be feeding on this, the amount of bacteria will increase. Bacteria will also do respiration, so they will require oxygen. Getting it, guys? So they will take up lots of oxygen from the water body now. Not just bacteria, there will be other decomposers also, like certain fungi will also be there. Some other phytoplanktons will also be there. Getting it, guys? So they will be taking up oxygen from the water right now. So due to the lack of oxygen, all the aquatic animals like the fishes will be killed in the water body. So this is what eutrophication is. Is that clear to everyone? It's a process where what we are getting to see, that water body becomes overly enriched with a nutrient, because of which so many alga will grow on it. Some other plants will also grow on it. Okay, na? And as a result, when they will be dying, so their decaying body will be eaten up by the decomposers. Those decomposers will also further take up the oxygen from the water, and further what will happen, the fishes will die due to lack of oxygen. So that is the thing. Mainly, what kind of nutrients will be responsible for this? Nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. These will be mainly responsible for this. So that is the thing. Then we have the concept of potable waters. Like what potable water is? So drinking water, or the water that is fit for our consumption, will be simply called as potable water or drinkable water. That is the thing. Another thing is that how water is made safe for the drinking. Like how water is purified, basically. Like in order to purify the water purify the water, uh, in order to, I mean, prevent the water from pollution, water from our household and industries and other sources, first of all, they will go through a sewage treatment plant. The polluted water goes through a sewage treatment plant. In almost every district, there's at least one sewage treatment plant, via which all the water will go, via which all the sewage, basically polluted water, will go. And from the other side, it will come as a treated water, which will not contain any harmful components in it. Okay, na? And then it will be released into the water body. Okay, na? So that is the thing. So water, like water from these water, like the sewage that is coming from our house, it is passed via the sewage treatment plant, and then the treated water is then released into the water body. So this is the way how water is treated before being dumped into the water bodies. Then the question is, how water is made safe for drinking. So there are various methods by which water can be made safe for drinking. One of the way is by filtration. Filtration. By boiling the water, or by the process of chlorination. So filtration, what it will do? Filtration will only remove the visible impurities from the water. It's a physical method of removing the impurities from water. Many of the household would be using water purifiers that can filter the water and make it safe for drinking. Boiling, what it will do? It will kill the germs. Boiling will be killing the most of the germs. So many people you see that will be boiling the water before drinking it. In chlorination, what is done? Chlorine is added into the water. Chlorine is basically it's a natural cleaning agent for water, which makes it fit for the consumption. So chlorine would be added in the water to remove impurities from it. Chlorine is added in the water to remove the impurities from it. Like for example, if there's a water, if I were to add chlorine in this now, not only it kills the germs in it, but it will be killing the germs in it, basically. Getting it now? So that is the process. These are some of the common ways by which water can be cleaned and made fit for the consumption. Okay, now although nowadays we have the technology of reverse osmosis using which water is cleaned. Okay, so the reverse osmosis devices which we have at home, basically it will be able to remove the bacteria from the water, different kind of bacteria like E. coli bacteria, different kind of viruses. It will be removed via the RO systems that we have installed at our home. Getting it, guys? RO system, it can also remove different kind of pesticides or some fertilizer chemicals also. Also, it can enrich the water with some mineral if that water lacks that mineral. Okay, so that is the reverse osmosis system, where basically it's kind of a filter system where basically water will be pushed through a selective membrane, kind of a selective membrane. Across that, water will be pushed, and in that now, nearly all the contaminants, nearly all the chemical substances present in the water, so many harmful bacteria in it, will come out from that water. Right now, will be treated, will be killed from that water. So that is the thing. Then one more thing is left to be discussed: that how to prevent water pollution. So industries, for example, should strictly follow the laws that they should not be disposing untreated sewage water into the rivers or any other water body directly. They should treat the factory waste before dumping it. Uh, more and more water treatment plant, more and more sewage treatment plants should be installed near the industrial areas, particularly. As an individual, also we should make sure that at our home there isn't any leaking taps in the house, or like while